Ahoy, everyone. This is David Eugene Perry in the Zoom room with the most educated, most fun person in the world talking about movies, known to his fans as Real Kev, but of course his real name is Kevin Thomas. But Kevin, we are here during Pride Month and we're going to be talking about what?
Well, David, this is the perfect day for your show. Every day's perfect day to see you, by the way. But Frameline is happening right now. And if you can't come to the Bay Area to see it, I am going to mention some great movies playing at Frameline that you could stream at home. Yes.
So this is one of the good things that came out of COVID. People are streaming.
Yes. And I don't just mean fishing in the water. I mean, I'm sure that was the dumbest joke I ever said. You're probably not going to cut it out. So let's just pretend. Okay. Yes, people are streaming at home. So many different movies, so many different ways, entertainment. But, before we go to Frameline, though, I kind of love that idea. And I also don't like it. Like at the people go to the movie theater. You need to support movie theaters and live theaters. Don't just be at home streaming. Sure, it's great when you're not in the Bay Area and you want to see these great Frameline movies, but so many movies have technically flopped this. Oh, my hands, both of them are on screen. So many movies have technically flopped this year because people are only going to the giant blockbusters. But so many movies should be enjoyed at the theater to support the arts.
Well, before we get into Frameline, let's talk a little bit about that. Everyone's made a big deal this year about the blockbusters that have brought people back to the movie theaters. But is that really what it takes to get people into theaters anymore? And do you think that's all because of COVID?
I think it is because of COVID. I think in the older age range, not that I'm there, but
Nor me neither.
Oh no, I heard from a lot of people in that older age range of 50 plus. I have no idea what that looks like.
Poor things. Poor things.
Right. That they still are fearful of going to the theater, or they just got more comfortable at home. So mostly younger people are going to the theaters and they're seeing the Batman, they're seeing Lightyear, they're seeing the Top Gun. They probably didn't even know there was a previous Top Gun. So, and that's great because I think blockbusters are great on the screen. Two things I love on the movie screen besides just supporting it. Blockbusters, because you could see all that action and hear that sound and get engulfed in that. And musicals, because the songs sound so much better on the big screen than on your phone.
Right. Well, and then you also may want to get up and dance in front of the audience.
Well, I probably wouldn't like people doing that, standing in my way, stopping me from seeing Ariana DeBose and West Side Story because they think they could dance.
Let me talk. Hey, not to go back in time a little bit, but I mean, it is kind of gay, West Side Story, since everyone who made it was gay. Why did that flop?
Because people our age were the ones that are supposed to go. And I think having younger people watch a movie about gangs of New York from an earlier day, I don't think they're into period pieces. Technically, it's not quite a flop. Since I love that movie, I watched it inch its way up to $76 million it brought. Although I think it cost $100, it's probably going to do well on renting and buying it streamable or even the Blu-ray. But I just followed that movie because I just thought it was great and took 11 months to make $76 million, yet a movie like Jurassic World and Top Gun made that over the weekend.
Right. And then you got something like, again, those poor older people of whom we know nothing about. Downton Abbey, I mean, that is the definition of period piece, our audience, and it did very well.
Well, I guess because that one had a big following, but other little smaller movies, I mean, like some of them, like the Lost City with Sandra Bullock, that had a lot of action and had Channing Tatum, so that did well. But without the pandemic, I think it would have did better because movies now are at the theater for a brief time, and now you can watch that for free on Paramount Plus, provided you subscribe to Paramount Plus. By the way, if anybody want to gift me a Paramount Plus account, feel free. I let it expire. Well, I have so many streaming channels that I said, you know what? I just need to save a little money. So I had to sort of streamline what I had. And, some things had to go.
I get it. Well, look, let's get back to Frameline because we were right in the middle of Frameline. Everyone in San Francisco is thrilled that the LGBT landmark, the historic Castro Theatre, which is celebrating its 100th birthday this year, is hosting Frameline again. It's a big deal. Another Planet Entertainment is helping sponsor it. They're providing the filmmaker tent out back. It's just really incredible, the energy on Castro Street around the Castro Theatre. And we're all just grateful for this landmark to now begin to be renovated and revitalized and bring in a whole new set of audience members. But this week, it's all about Frameline. How big a deal is Frameline 2022?
Well, I think it's a really big deal because we've all been worried about the purchase of the Castro Theatre. Is it going to be, because you're going to start doing live events? Are they really?
Yeah, but it's, I hate to correct you mid-sentence. It's not a purchase. The people that own the Castro Theatre still own it. The Nasser family built it in 1922, and they still own it. The only thing that's changed is Another Planet is managing it. And of course, I'm excited because they're going to be bringing in not only live entertainment and music, but the ADA access has been greatly needed. They're going to improve the concessions. They're going to bring in, seats that are adaptable for all kinds of things. And the small business community in the Castro is just, they're dying for something more than film, although film will always be part of what Another Planet's doing.
Well, I still get nervous that, a lot of times change makes things change. And a lot of things when people kind of take over, they change things too much. Because I do agree that the Castro Theatre is a big venue. And I mean, how much money can they make from screening Rear Window? 1954 film, maybe they'll sell 100 tickets, but that is a huge theater. So back to the Frameline, I'm glad that it's at Frameline is at the Castro Theatre. By the way, it also spills over to the East Bay. One theater I know that I think is super fun is the Parkway Cinema, which is really a cool venue where you sit around in old chairs and you get pizza and eat at your chair, drink a beer. So I think the Castro Theatre, the Frameline Festival, although it's the longest running gay film festival, it also stayed modern by adapting to society and the world as we know it. Not only screenings, but also screening in different venues and streaming. Yes!
So talk to me a little bit about some of the things that are standouts for you that you would either have seen or you want to see, things that you're particularly excited about. And then I'll tell you one that I am.
Well, interesting. You should ask David. I have a list over here. In the last 2 weeks, my YouTube channel has been devoted to Frameline. 1 week I did documentaries. 1 week today is narrative features, and they're all streamable. Now, there may be a great movie I'm not going to mention because either A, I didn't have access to it in advance, or B, I didn't watch it yet because I actually had to sleep sometimes. It's so hard to watch hundreds of movies. I think there's like almost 200 films, and I watch many of them. So on the narrative side, my favorite movie, and by the way, these are all you could stream because why am I talking to your broad audience across the world that all can't fly into San Francisco? They could fly into their computer and go to frameline.org and buy tickets for the streamable movies, which starts June 24th. But my favorite in the narrative is called Sissy. It's about a woman named Cecilia who is a popular influencer who meets up with an old friend from school. And then we learn in flashbacks, she had some bully that called her Sissy the Sissy. Well, let's just say if Carrie was Australian, the outcome might be a little similar. Did you see Sissy?
No. I'm just laughing at your description of if Carrie were Australian. That's pretty good.
Well, and for TV fans who watch alternative television, The Bold Type is a really fun show. The lead actress from that is Cecilia. Another one that I liked in narrative features, which kind of caught me off guard, was, oh my God, I forgot the title real quick and I wrote it down. Unidentified Objects. It's probably my favorite road movie I think I've ever seen. It has this unlikely pairing of this free-spirited woman and this naggy, awful, hateful guy that they end up going on a road trip where they run into aliens and other little fantasy sequences. But he is such a good actor, Matthew Jeffers, that he's so annoying and irritating, yet you learn about him as a person, you understand, and then you start feeling for him. And when an actor can make you feel for them when you technically really want to slap their face. But I understood him now, and I would like to be his friend. I mean, I can go on, David. I don't want to just like have you nod at stuff, but another one that I
No,
love.
I mean, that's why Kevin, I live to nod for stuff when you talk
Oh,
about
I love
movies.
when you live to nod for stuff because you know you even know the Hat Lady, woo, girl. But
Yeah.
also, All Kinds of Love is from Matthew Montgomery, who's one of my favorite gay filmmakers. He and his real life husband play a couple separating, and they both sort of find a new interest in someone younger. So there's a lot of prejudice between older people and younger people thinking they know what the other one wants. But the fun side story about his parents are in a three-way relationship. It's fun to see your parents in a throuple. You know what I mean?
I
And
don't know if I'm ready for that, but that's okay.
oh, I thought I read on your social media you're in a throuple.
You
No,
what? What sort
no,
of rumor?
I
That's
just
not
started
me, girl.
rumors. Maybe
Yeah,
it's in your book. Let's put it in your book. Okay.
no, my husband Alfredo is going to just about faint when he'll will watch this. No, I have nothing against thruples, but one for me is plenty, and I'm
Well, that,
pretty
that was
sure
just
for
a
Alfredo
bad joke
too.
to stir up trouble because it seemed like you need a little trouble stirring.
Yeah,
And
thanks, I appreciate that.
and maybe someday for our lesbian viewers out there, that is with Michelle Aarons, who Elin, I mean, I always get her name mixed. Sorry, Michelle Elin. She has done many, many, many wonderful lesbian films at Frameline and other film festivals. They're mostly comedic. This is more of a dramatic turn where she too is having a breakup. So she has to re-navigate her life and find out what she needs to do next because it's all been devoted to that one person. Along the way, she meets another irritating character who's probably the most unfunny comedian in the world. Not in the movie, his character is a comedian, but he's so inappropriate and not in a funny way and very unfunny. And his name is Charlie Steers, who practically steals the movie. But Michelle did a great job writing her part and his part. So that's another wonderful film. And I actually like to make sure I mention the lesbians because a lot of times gay men go to gay men movies. Lesbians go to lesbian movies. I go to quality movies. A lot of times you don't learn that until you've seen it, but those I didn't like certainly aren't getting mentioned here. And just because I don't want to stick on just narrative features, on the documentary side, we have All Man, the story of international male. Now, David, you and I are super young, so we don't know what that magazine was back in the
No,
day.
oh, all right, come on, look, yeah, I'll come out of the closet as being old, and coming out of the closet as someone who would go to the library and slip copies of International Mail between like National Geographic. Brian Bazzini, that actor that's on CID. Come on, we know. I know me my International Mail models. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
no, yeah, but you know, a lot of them became famous. Shamar Moore was an international male
Shamar
model.
Moore, that's the one I'm thinking of. I used to love watching him. You know
Take
wear
off the
those.
shirt. So for those who don't know, International Mail was a catalog. You know, it's all reversed. It was a catalog of male fashion aimed at straight people, but the gay men would just buy. I mean, actually, I still probably have a piece of clothing from that. Not the underwear. The underwear are super hot. That's why David and I would look at it because these hot men in these little skimpy underwear, just holding it up like a banana hammock. But I learned through this that everybody kind of became a family in that. They'd never done a catalog or magazine before. They were selling it more as a magazine and not a catalog. And then when they finally opened a store, even famous people would go shopping for their men, like Barbara Streisand. Barbara Streisand is shopping. I don't know. I can't be for Elliot Gould. I'm going to think it was when
Maybe it
she.
was for her gay son. You know, something
Oh
for
my God!
something for
I don't
Hanukkah.
know. Is Barbara Streisand to go buy sexy underwear for her gay son? Hey, Jason, do you like these? I'm going to
Yeah,
say it was during her days at Don Johnson. I'm
yeah.
going to go for that. Then there's Boulevard, the documentary about the musical Sunset Boulevard, but not the one we all know with Glenn Close from Andrew Lloyd Webber. I did not know, but thank you for the greatest documentary filmmaker I've ever heard of, Jeffrey Schwartz, who did this film. He also did the Tab Hunter one, the Divine one, the Alan Carr. He always finds a great story. And this is right after the movie Sunset Boulevard with Gloria Swanson. She
Oh,
decides, oh my God, I made a hit. I need to stay on top. So she works for these two guys, gay guys. That's how it's at this festival,
yeah.
to make Sunset Boulevard a musical. and she actually starts crushing on one of them. They're gay guys. So that adds really an interesting element to a documentary. It's like, wow, Gloria, go.
Fascinating. Well, the one you haven't mentioned is one that I'm excited about because the person it's about is a longtime friend and colleague, actually a filmmaker. I was in his film, Sex Is, another documentary.
And that was next on my list, but you go.
Oh, there you go. Many years ago, Marc Huestis made a film, Sex Is. I was in it. And evidently, my interview with Marc Huestis on my TV show, 10%, is in the documentary that you're about to tell us about. It is called
Impresario, which he is one.
Tell us about it.
Okay, for those that don't know Marc Huestis, he really is a trailblazer trendsetter. And this is the part that really I'm sorry, movies make me more emotional than real life. So Marc, back in the 80s, got the HIV virus. And in those days, it was called a death sentence because they didn't have what they have today. So Marc watched a lot of good friends die. And they always had tributes to the people who died. But then he thought, you know what? Why do we have to wait for someone to be dead to make sure they know we love and care about them? So people out there, tell people that you love and care about them every day of your life because you never know when it's over. But back to his movie. Then he thought, you know what? Why do I just need to do this about normal people like a David Perry, whoever the hell he is? Oops, sorry. So he started doing tributes to famous people that were alive. And this is kind of taken off with other people doing it, but I think he's the one that started. So, for example, the Poseidon Adventure. He would have Carol Lindley come on.
Yes.
Interview her. They would do a sort of funny skit, often with drag queens, and then they'd screen the movie. He did it with Poltergeist. Oh, my favorite was Valley of the Dolls.
Dolls.
Oh, Patty Duke, that's already gay enough. But when you bring Patty Duke to the screening, and then you got drag queens playing those dolls, and then you watch that campy movie. So,
yeah, and then
Marc,
Debbie,
what?
And I mean, Debbie Reynolds, Kim Novak.
I know and you know, a lot of people have done this since, but I love the fact that, you know, he loves movies, so he makes you love them with him. Even his tickets. He says in the movie, he didn't just sell tickets that you just print out. He made tickets that you could save forever as memorabilia. And I've always appreciated him, but now I am a super fan because I realize he really started a trend that's happened a lot over the years. Many people do tributes to actors that are still alive. And I think that he should keep doing it. Other people should do it. And we should also make sure, David, by the way, I really care about you as a person. I just want you to know. We need to say that every day.
And Kevin, I do too. And you know, I'm glad. I'm going to
care about you as a person, or you care about me as a person?
Both.
Okay.
I'm going to, not necessarily in that order. I'm going to make sure I post this interview today. I was going to wait till tomorrow, but why not? Because not only is today Juneteenth and Father's Day, it's National Martini Day. So what better thing to post? It's true, National Martini Day, June 19th. Look it up. I'm going to post this interview today because one of the films you just mentioned, Impresario, will be live at the Castro on Tuesday. So this will be a way to promote it because I'm certainly a fan of Marc. He has done more to promote film and events and keep the Castro Theatre alive than most anyone I know. So hats off to Marc as well.
Yes. And for those that can't make it, remember this and every movie I've mentioned you could stream by going to frameline.org starting June 24th.
Now, Kevin, in our last few moments in closing, anything you'd like to say about films in general this year or about Frameline? And then, since, of course, I'm always about a shameless plug, as are you, have you given any thought to who's going to be in the movie version of my book, Upon This Rock, now that the screenplay is being written? And I have to help sell it, so help me.
Oh, my God. I'm so excited that the screenplay is being written. So, I forgot his name right now. Johnny Sibley, I think, right now. He would be a good character. He's in so much Frameline stuff. He's in the short film. Oh, my God. What's the name of it? It's about, it's with Cheyenne Jackson.
Yes. I know what you mean.
Yeah, and he's in The New Queer as Folk, which I don't really like. And he was, so wonderful in Hacks. Do you know who he is? He was The
Yes,
guy,
I know. His name's escaping me at the moment, but yeah, I know who
Johnny
you
Sibley,
mean.
I think is his name.
I mean, Johnny Sibley, yeah.
Yeah, so he would be good in your movie. Let's call him Johnny. John.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
you know what? He's out enjoying Martini Day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, producers call me, need to sell this screenplay. Now, shameless plug for you. If people want to learn more about your wonderful film reviews, your film insights, where can they find you online?
Oh, well, I repost everything on all social media platforms, but I do my weekly movie review show with 7 movies, one for each day of the week. Once a week, it airs Sunday, but of course you can watch it anytime. And it's on youtube.com/realkev, REELKEV. I started it when the pandemic hit because you couldn't go to live theater. So it's called #@HomeFilmFestival. This month is open gay movies. Got one more week of gay movies, and I have other themes coming up. By the way, too, I always welcome ideas for themes. If anybody wants to, I've done challenges. Somebody once asked me, could I watch these funny movies without laughing? It was actually, could I watch these fart movies without laughing? That's probably one of my most watched ones. I'm sorry. Although some people call me bougie sometimes, I love a good fart scene in a movie.
But, Kevin, I can always depend upon you to end on a high note. When they go low, you go lower. So there you go. Everyone, I've been speaking with Kevin Thomas, known as Real Kev, #@HomeFilmFestival, and youtube.com/RealKev. That's REELKEV, as in a film reel. Which
Yes,
those poor
that's exactly
people,
what I thought
only
of it.
those poor people that are older than 50 remember that. It's not just on your iPhone. So, Kevin, it's always a pleasure. I hope you enjoy the rest of the Frameline Festival. And any closing thoughts before we say the final ahoy?
No, David, though, I do appreciate all that you do for the community as well, besides promoting your book. So I don't like martinis, but I'm going to go find a martini glass and put some. Oh my God, no, I like fun ones. Like, oh, an espresso martini. Technically, they're calling that a martini. Oh my God, that is so good. I drank them all through London. So, David, I'm going to probably drink espresso martinis thinking of you.
I want a picture of that today so I can post.
Okay.
All right. On behalf of Real Kev, Kevin Thomas, this is David Perry, wishing you all a wonderful Frameline Festival. Happy film watching. Ahoy.
Ahoy.